Hello, friends. Welcome to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host, Julie Jancius. If you love this podcast, please be our angel. Ask a friend to listen, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, leave a positive review, and share a screenshot of this podcast on your Facebook or Instagram stories. So, my dad passed away in 2015. We weren't talking, and it took a month for his family to track me down. Before I ever knew he was gone, I started hearing from him in heaven. It consumed me. How is communication with the other side even possible? I left my corporate gig, studied with spiritual teachers on every coast, and worked with my angels to figure out the answers. Today, my mission is teaching you how to raise your vibration, shift your thoughts, trust your intuition, develop your unique spiritual gifts, and connect with your loved ones and angels on the other side. Friends, when you have these tools, life really does become heaven on earth. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host and author, Julie Jancius. Friends, I am reading again. I might have told you last week, I'm starting to read to you a little bit as we collect more of your angel stories to share here on the show. Stories from Joan Wester Anderson's books. This one is from Angelic Tales. She's a woman who passed away, but she actually lived in a town that I lived, Arlington Heights, Illinois, and she collected all of these angel stories in the 90s, and she helped to kind of make angels a big deal in the 1990s. And I definitely look up to her in that way, that she just shared so much hope and belief and faith with humanity by collecting these angel stories and sharing them. So if you have an angel story, I would love to continue Joan's work, which I feel like I'm doing here on the podcast by sharing these stories. And I'm so grateful to her publisher, because her publisher allows me to share stories from each book and just promote them. So this book is called Angelic Tales, True Stories of Heavenly Canine Companions, little doggies, right? And you can purchase that on Amazon or anywhere books are found. Okay, this story is called The Last Escort. And there's a little quote. She always starts out with a little quote before each story. This quote says, "We ought to give moral consideration to the welfare of animals, because animals have intrinsic worth. They are creatures of a creator who loves them no less than God loves us." That's by Valerie Elverton Dixon, Washington Post. All right, the story starts. Lisa, a flight attendant based in Arizona, met her husband Oscar on a flight. Actually, my parents met the same way. Within 2 months, they were engaged. Oscar was from Guatemala, so Lisa was saddened when she realized that most of Oscar's family would not be able to attend their wedding in Phoenix. She had been especially looking forward to meeting his mom, Martita. From what Lisa had heard from Oscar, Martita was an amazing woman. "Tell me about her," Lisa asked on more than one occasion. "She mothers everyone," Oscar explained. "Strangers or friends, it makes no difference. Everyone is welcome in her house. Some people stop by just to talk with her. They say it makes them feel better." "A warm person," Lisa said. "And did I mention she feeds so many needy people that the church has designated her house as an actual soup kitchen? A generous woman, giving and not counting the cost." Lisa was intrigued by Oscar's description. As a new bride, she also felt a bit unsure. She would like to become a person like Martita, to live up to the example she set. But how did one begin? As time went on, Lisa learned that there was a sort of breach between Oscar and his family in Guatemala. Oscar had been married once before, and his divorce had deeply troubled some members of his family, especially his mother. It had happened long before Lisa and Oscar met, and although he was He and his family seemed to get along better now, there was still an occasional tension among them. She and Oscar and his parents did eventually visit back and forth, and Lisa felt very relaxed and at ease with her father in law. With Martita, she was a bit more reserved. Martita was a truly wonderful woman in every way, Lisa says. When we visited Antigua, I would see for myself all of the people she helped each day. But I think because I tended to favor Oscar and whatever family problems existed, I was less involved with her. Thus, when visits came to an end, Lisa always said goodbye to Martita with a touch of regret. Here had been another opportunity for her to draw closer to her mother-in-law, and she had missed it again. Then one evening, one of Oscar's sisters phoned. Their mother had passed suddenly. Lisa was shocked and sorrowful. Now all she could do was attempt to comfort Oscar. They were on a plane to Guatemala immediately. There again was the unusual scenery, the volcanoes, the age-old architecture, and unique street markets. But this time, Lisa saw none of the country's beauty. The family mourned together and prepared for tomorrow's funeral. The next day, they sat in the first few pews of the old ornate church. Although large, it was almost filled. And there were 3 priests on the altar. Lisa caught the small sounds of weeping and sighs. She struggled to understand the priest's Spanish as he spoke of Martita. Even he seemed genuinely grief-struck, and Lisa felt as if she wanted to cry too. If only she had been able to really know Martita. Just then, Lisa heard light footsteps behind her. She turned slightly and gazed in amazement. A shabby golden brown dog was coming into the church. I love animals, Lisa says, but the church is God's house, and a dog doesn't belong in it. Old school thinking, right, folks? Especially an unkept street dog like that. Surely someone would take it out, but no one did. The priest kept on talking, and the dog walked briskly down the center aisle and sat down in front of the casket, as if she were carrying out an assignment to guard it. Was this some Central American custom, Lisa wondered? For no one was reacting at all. She turned her eyes back to the priest, but it was difficult to concentrate. Why would a stray choose this particular moment to come into the church? It was a shame. Martita deserved a dignified farewell, and now this animal had been ruining everything. Someone should catch that dog, she whispered to Oscar. She's not bothering anyone, Oscar shrugged. Yes, but Lisa didn't want to argue with her husband, especially on a day like this. Perhaps when everyone left for the cemetery, the dog would go away. As the service ended, everyone stood to form a procession behind the casket. The dog stood too, as if she knew exactly where she was going, trotting in front of everyone else down the center aisle. Lisa grasped Oscar's arm as they walked out onto the road that led to the cemetery. She unwisely wore high heels and her feet were hurting. How was she going to walk on the cobblestone street? One of Oscar's relatives noticed her dilemma. Would you and Oscar like to ride in the car? I would, thank you. Lisa and Oscar got into the car behind the hearse, and it slowly pulled away. Everyone else followed, walking. Lisa couldn't help it. She looked out back the window. There was the brown dog marching right behind their car. It looked as if all of the mourners were following the dog, she said. She seems to be setting the pace. When the procession turned into the cemetery, Lisa lost sight of the dog. No doubt she had scampered off somewhere. The car pulled up to the burial site, and Lisa alighted. She stopped in surprise. Not only was the dog there, but she again had trotted up to the front, as if not to miss any part of the graveside service. And she did. Oscar's sister gave a eulogy, and he did too, fumbling for a piece of paper on which he had scribbled a final farewell to his mother. Other people spoke, some wept. Looking around, Lisa realized that many in the large throng were those Marta had helped throughout the years. What a tribute they were paying to her. The dog sat quietly, as if absorbing it all. The ceremony ended, and slowly the mourners left, some shaking hands with Lisa, some hugging Oscar as they passed. The dog remained in her place next to the family. It was almost as if she were too greeting each person. Then, when everyone had gone except the priest and the family, the shabby canine stood, turned, and with deliberate, almost regal steps marched out of the cemetery, the last guest to leave. Then Lisa realized that throughout the time she had been with them, the dog had not approached a single person. The priest watched as the dog disappeared into the busy street market. That dog has never once come into the church before, he commented. He knew the dog? Then why did she come to our family's funeral? Lisa asked. She is a stray, the priest explained. She has no home, no one to belong to. But she was always welcome at Martita's house. Martita's house, Lisa thought of the oasis of comfort and calmness her mother-in-law had created. No one had been turned away, not even a little dog. Lisa had thought she would never truly know who Martita was, but now she understood. Anyone could be like Martita if their legacy was love. Isn't that beautiful, friends? I love that story so much. Beautiful souls, this has been one of the hardest years, and we're still kind of in the thick of it. And I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you so incredibly much to everyone who financially supports my work. Truly, I could not do this work without you, and I am so beyond grateful. For those of you who do want to support my work, I do have a new Sacred Women's Circles. They're all beginning, all of the circles, August 1st. You can now sign up on my website, theangelmedium.com, then go to the Women's Circles tab. Also, friends, I just read a report, and this isn't to scare you. The angels want to prepare you. This report has talked about how over the next decade, 33% of all jobs in the US could be eliminated and 47% total could be disrupted due to new AI technology. Again, this isn't to scare you, but your angels want you to be prepared. Friends, I would love to teach you the skills of being an angel messenger, energy healer, and medium, all in one at my Angel Reiki School. If you've been feeling called to serve humanity or start your own healing business, please do not wait. This is your sign. Your angels are trying to work with you on a whole new level. Friends, a whole new Angel Reiki School begins online August 1st. And when you sign up this month for the online program, I'm gifting you free tuition to also attend in person at any of the 3 to 4 in-person Angel Reiki schools that we're going to have over the next 12 months. They're always held in the Chicago suburbs because it takes a few carloads to get all of the materials, massage tables that we use over there. Friends, the Angel Reiki School certifies you in all 3 modalities at once, giving you a really unique edge. Also, friends, one more thing. If you love this podcast and want to support me, we're starting a whole new course August 1st in the Angel membership. It's called Release Fear and Step into Your Power. You can sign up for the Sacred Women's Circles, Angel Reiki School, and the membership all on my website, theangelmedium.com. If you want more info, use the contact form over at theangelmedium.com to submit your question. I read all of them. And from the bottom of my heart, friends, I can't thank you enough. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for supporting my work. I truly couldn't keep all of this going without you. So thank you. Now back to the show. I think that there are so many times in life where we really want to get to know another person for one reason or another. And I remember there was one woman when I was in high school who I just really revered. She just kind of had this quiet humbleness, but she was always taking care of everyone else. And I just have gone through life where I look at qualities in other people, how people present themselves, who they are, and there's something that whispers inside me in my intuition, my soul, God's voice, the angels. It all comes through the voice of my intuition. And I'll look at people sometimes and I'll just be like, that's who I want to be. That's how I want to be. And I want you to notice that within yourself. When you see that within you, it's on purpose. I just had Elise on the podcast on Monday, and she reminds me of this girl that I went to high school with. And my friend Jenny, that I went to high school with, she was 4 years or no, 3 years ahead of me. So she was a senior when I was a freshman. And I remember just looking at her, and every time I would look at her, and I get the same feeling every time I see Elise Lunen's stuff come up on Instagram, I think to myself, oh, that's who I want to be. That's who I look up to. And I believe that God places those people within our path that help show us our way forward, that they're part of our path. You're seeing them, you're hearing that within your own intuition, because the baton is meant to be passed down. It's interesting, I think sometimes about how Joan Wester Anderson, who wrote all of these volumes of angel story books, how she lived in Arlington Heights, Illinois, and I lived in Arlington Heights, Illinois for a long time in high school. And actually, when I very first was born, lived with my grandparents over there. And when my parents divorced, we moved back into their house in Arlington Heights. If you know Arlington Heights, there's a big Arlington lake, Lake Arlington, that's right there. And our house was right near that Lake Arlington. We would walk around it. And so I think of Joan Wester Anderson sometimes, and having lived in the same city for so long, that the baton is passed down. And sometimes we don't even know who we're passing that baton down to, but that we trust God to take care of that. And that person will feel it within their being when they know that that work is theirs to do. And just like I feel called to take the baton and run with Joan Wester Anderson's work and angel stories and continue to share them with the world, I know that some of you listening to the podcast have told me and commented, and it brings so much joy to me. When people say, I really look up to the work that you do, Julie, with this podcast, and I want to continue that on. And I think that, you know, I've had people in the Angel Reiki School who are like, Julie, why do you give away so much for free? You're so much more generous than, and this is just what they say. They say you're so much more generous than other teachers. You just tell us everything and anything. And you tell us to, use what you have created and built off of it. And they say other teachers don't do that. And it's because I really, truly believe in my heart that what God, universe, source wants from us is not to be a single person helping within the world, but for us to be this beautiful, radiant energy that inspires other people to help and to serve in the world as well. And every time, I think about this, the angels show me this beautiful webbing that happens. So when you're one person on your soul's path, I want you to see yourself kind of like in the middle, in the center of a piece of paper, right? And as you are doing your soul's work, and maybe you're sharing angel stories with the world, maybe you're helping and serving others in the capacity that just calls to your heart, right? As you are doing this work, your energy is radiant. Your auric field is radiant. And other people can see you being in joy and just living out your purpose, how much fulfillment that brings to your heart. And that's really what inspires them, because they want that too. And that's not a bad thing. That's them being on their path. So when they see that and then they go do that thing, or, people come through the Angel Reiki School, you have all of these other pinpoints, right, that web out from you. And I've gotten to teach. Um, I haven't counted recently, but I know last time I checked about a year ago, it was over 600 people have come through the Angel Reiki School, and so many of them have started these incredible, incredible businesses, and just are doing this incredible work within the world. And so I see this picture of myself and then all of these 600 plus Angel Reiki School students webbing out from me and then webbing out from those students, just so many more people that they're reaching. And that is impact within the world, right? That just by doing what God, Universe, Source has called you to do, what your soul wants to do in this lifetime, you get to inspire other people to be on their path. And then by them just being on their path, they get to inspire other people as well. And that ripple effect just keeps going outward and outward and outward and outward. And I really, truly do believe that one person's life can have such a huge difference. I think that there's a lot of people within the world who, especially in hard and challenging times, they look at themselves and they say, what can one person do? Really, Julie, what can one person do? I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. And the angel said, everything. What can one person do? Everything. Because when you are on your soul's path and you are doing what your soul wants to do in this lifetime, what you feel called to do in your heart, just the little things every single day, other people see it. Other people notice. Other people are watching. And they look at you and they go, I want to be on my soul's path too. I want to do good works like that person is doing. I want to help and serve. And so when you think to yourself, if you ever think to yourself, what can one person do? I want you to hear your angel's reply. Everything. Everything, everything, everything. One person can make huge shifts that change the entire world. And what a lovely thought it is to think that when we're all doing that, all at the same time, man, this place becomes heaven on earth. And that's where I'll leave you today, friends. I hope you get to marinate on that thought all day long. What can you do? Everything, just by being yourself. And just being some days, right? I love you so much, friends. Have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed day. Beautiful souls, we have so many freebies to help serve you, your family, and friends. Want a weekly message from your angels emailed to you? Sign up on my website to receive a weekly message of love, hope, and healing from the angels. Do you have a prayer request? Go to the homepage of my website and submit your prayer request so that our team of prayer warriors can be praying for you daily. Want to learn more about the angels and energy healing? Subscribe to my YouTube channel called Julie Jancius to learn more about the angels, energy healing techniques, and so much more. One of the biggest things we hear from our listeners is that they have no one to talk to about their spiritual awakening. We created a private Facebook group called the Angels and Awakening Podcast Tribe so that you could connect with others like you and know that you're not alone. So be sure to join this group on Facebook to get the support you need. Want a free session? We plan to give away over 240 free sessions with students in the Angel School per year. To win a free session, subscribe and rate this podcast 5 stars. Then write a positive review and email us a screenshot. That way we know who to contact when you win. Want to share your uplifting angel story on the podcast? Because we love sharing them. Please write down your angel story and email it to us. Don't forget, Be an angel and share this podcast with someone who needs it. See you back here next time for another episode of the Angels and Awakening podcast. Friends, before we go, I want you to take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Again, deep breath, inhaling the pure white light and love of God, making you feel weightless and filled with joy. And I want you to exhale all of the heaviness that you've been carrying in your auric field, in your chakras, in your body. Friends, no matter where you are in your life, your angels need you to know that you are so loved. Never doubt that you have big purpose here and now. What is your soul here to do? My friends, your spirit team is always working with you. I want you to see and feel your heart chakra and your heart itself opening like French doors. I want you to see God and your spirit team sending you a multitude of blessings of abundance in health, wealth, happiness, love, and peace. See all of those unexpected blessings filling your heart right now. My friends, your soul is love, joy, peace, bliss, ease, and grace. And because that's who and what you truly are, these elements can never leave you. They can never be taken away from you. And my friends, all you really ever have to do is just be. Be you and radiate the beautiful light that you are. So go forth today and be an angel in the lives of others. Radiate your love and live in the high vibration of simply being.